Hey y'all, it's Witwack, and today I'm going to be doing something a bit different from my normal speed draws. Instead of completely original characters, I want to start making videos based around the games, the shows, and other media that I'm a fan of. I'll be covering quite a lot of different things if I can. But this time around, I'll be combining one of my favorite things, dragons, with Minecraft. I know you can see the first one coming, could you? Anywho, on with the video. Transforming Minecraft mobs into dragons. The first of the 3 mobs I'll be transforming is the Creeper. It's the most iconic mob of the game, so it just had to be first. Sadly, I will never do an Enderman transformation as, well, that would just be the Ender Dragon. I wanted to go with this Death Meets Plants theme for this first dragon, based upon the most popular theory as to what a creeper is. Now, I mean, I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I just run into a lot of those videos, I guess. The head ended up pretty menacing, although not very creeper-esque, so I do adjust that later. The body ended up kinda cute, though. It's kinda chubby, if I'm gonna be honest. It actually looks kinda like that Land Before Time character, now that I'm looking at it. If you notice, I did my sketch in blue, and I'm now using red for my inking layer. If you aren't familiar with the concept already, I do my drawings in colors other than black so that my lines are looser and less particular. The ultimate result of the sketch gave the dragon this kinda patchwork look that made it almost look like a cursed doll or construct made out of plants and bones that I'm fairly happy with. Out of all of these designs that I came up with for this video though, I think this one is my least favorite. It's a decent design, but it's just that decent. The next 2, at least for me, feel way more natural and nice to look at. But then again, I have a bit of weird opinions on what looks good, so I'm actually very curious about which one you guys think looks the best. I didn't give this critter wings because the creeper doesn't have arms, and I wasn't exactly sure how to represent that in a 4-legged dragon without making it 2-legged and sacrificing the iconic 4 lower legs the creeper has, so I had to settle for the winglessness, even though it's not as obvious that it's missing something. I still wanted to keep some of the blockiness that comes from being a Minecraft mob in the design to give it back a bit of its original feel, so I gave it these little square patterns all over disguise, like the patterns most animals have on their fur or skin. Not only that, but I felt that the design had too much empty space in the body, and the patterning helped fill out some of that unused area. The little goo-looking pouches all over the creeper dragon are there as a lore-friendly way to introduce the explosion aspect of the creeper. I like to imagine that these are fuel pockets the creeper uses to detonate, and that they also contain the seeds it spreads when it explodes in order to multiply. After some last-minute adjustments and details, especially to the shape of the face, we can finally move on to the coloring, starting off with simple blocks of green, yellow, and white to establish the iconic colors of the original mob before delving into smaller and smaller details. And after the last-minute details are finished, it's time to move on to the background. Now, I honestly suck at backgrounds. Like, a lot. I am not good at backgrounds. You'd think, but no. I've been practicing with landscapes on my own time lately, but it's gonna take a bit before it's where it needs to be. So for this, I decided to make the dragon backgrounds reminiscent of a journal picture or a mob intro page you might see on a Minecraft Bestiary or website. And yes, I had to hand do all of the letters, cause I couldn't find ones that matched what I wanted online. And to finish off the creeper, I added some Minecrafty texture to the background and plopped in a drop shadow to make the dragon pop out a bit from the stone around it. And with that, the creeper dragon is finished! Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and on to the next one! The second mob I decided to draw is everyone's least favorite mob in the Nether, the Ghast. Instead of making it just a giant floating head, I wanted to go with a mutation theme, like it used to be something else but has since been warped and changed by something in the Nether until it became this. A mutated dragonoid mass that spits fire at anything that moves and retains just enough awareness to shed tears at what it's become. Apparently I was in a grim mood when I drew this. To represent its unnaturalness, I drew bits of skin stretching and connecting its now useless limbs, almost as if they're in a process of receding back into the dragon's torso. I was gonna keep its legs as scythe-like, but eventually I thought it would be cool if its front four legs acted as propulsion for the creature as it flew. I've left a bit of rock-looking formations around its wrists as a nod to its nether home, like it's been dragging its feet through lava and dirt as it flies, leaving a hardened rock shell like crab claws on its legs. Similar to the creeper, I decided not to add wings to this dragon, as a ghast's method of flight is effortless and floaty. So instead, I chose to add these little vents to its back, as if it was using some form of internal combustion to fly, like a blimp. I started by inking in red, but I did eventually change the color of my inking layer into a cooler color, as I wanted the final tone of the drawing to be very warm, as it is a nether mob. I also spent far too long on inking the tears on his face. I guess I just wanted this dude to look properly sad. Again, I was in a dark mood, apparently. I wanted to make the smoke coming from its mouth very stylized, to add this cartoony video game look. Once again, I added blocky patterns as I went, although this time with a few circle patterns added in to give the dragon this round, squishy look. Not the cute kind though, more like the gross wet paper kind. Its back two pairs of feet look the most dragon-like of all of its appendages, but the toes are melded together and the knees are fused, making its back limbs completely useless for walking. After adding the last few details, it's finally time for coloring. There's not much to say about the colors here. The palette is basically taken directly from the original Ghast mob, the only real exception being the basalt rocks on the legs. I wanted to make the shadows very clean and solid to indicate smooth, balloon-like skin. I played around a lot with glow effects, sparks, and light reflection in this one to try and capture that depressed balloon meets fire look. I cut out making the background as I just copied the creeper background but made new letters. Laziness is convenient, but not all that entertaining. And with a few last-minute adjustments, we have our Ghast Dragon. I'm a big fan of how this one turned out, and I definitely like it more than the Creeper Dragon. On to the next! Seeing as though I'd done one mob from the overworld and one from the nether, it's time to remodel an end mob. As I can't do the Enderman or End Dragon, for obvious reasons again, I went with one of the most annoying mobs to deal with, the Shulker. Now, I struggled a ton to do the sketch for this one, as I wasn't sure how to make a dragon in a box look cool. But I did know I wanted to make it look sort of like an end-stoned construct. If the creeper is a mob created from plant matter and a ghast is a mutant, I wanted to make the shulker as a golem-type entity, kinda like a walking statue. I eventually do land on a general design I like, modifying its shell to wrap around the bottom of its legs instead of being a box. This is the only one of the three dragons in this video that has wings, but even then, as a shulker can't fly, I instead make its wings the top half of a shulker shell, as if it can fold them down to protect it from incoming attacks. As I mentioned before, I want this dragon to have a statue quality, with its main materials being endstone, purpur, and a little bit of ender pearl as decoration embedded into its surface. I wanted it to feel as if the shulker dragons were constructs left behind by a now long-dead civilization. Not gonna lie, the details on the shells took way too long. The angles did not like me. But I gave into sunk cost fallacy instead of trying something else, and they ended up okay. The pattern on the tail plates are based on the spiral pattern on the bottom of a shulker shell when put together. I changed my mind from the original plan and decided to go for a warm color palette for this one. I like the idea that the ender pearl swirls on its belly are not just for decoration, but also what the dragon construct uses to teleport from place to place. There is something menacing about imagining this hanging from walls and ceilings despite its bulky look. After giving its shells and pearl swirls a nice shine, I plopped in its background, and at last, the Shulker dragon is finished. I love how this one turned out, despite the rocky start. I'm so curious to find out which one is all y'all's favorite down in the comments below. And if any of you like assigning pointless lore to things as much as I do, go ahead and talk about that too. Also, if this video is successful enough, I'll go ahead and make more Minecraft mobs as dragons in the future videos. Honestly, it doesn't even have to end with Minecraft. I may do other transformations for other games. And if you like any of my content, I have a gaming channel as well now, so go check that out. I'm also planning on streaming on Twitch here real soon, so stay tuned for that. Bye-bye!